Cheers.
Cheers.
Nice. Good morning team, so I'm just working on the last parts of the construction of the kitchen. I made this bottle drawer last night. So this is a side mounted drawer that pulls out. If you could imagine this is a bottle of wine. Go like so. Oat milks, jars, things like that. So very happy with that, that'll be cool. Now I'm working on the drawer next to it, which will be one of our heavier food drawers, plus the under sink rubbish bin. I think I've got the design planned out, so that should be ready in the next hour or so, and then all I've got left is to do the nice birch fronts on the kitchen, and that's like 90% of the cabinetry done.
Okay, boy just woke up from his nap, so we're gonna do the ritual. Squeeze!
Just getting some fire going on in here. Wiring up some, like an LED strip. Everything's going pretty smoothly actually, it's just time consuming. I'm onto that at the moment, the woodworking. Drawers I am so stoked with.
What do you love with that?
Really, really well. I'm really happy with that. Now I just need to adjust the drawer runners so they sit a little bit more flush, but I'm stoked.
So, I came here to give you a good news. Guess what?
What?
I think your visa has been accepted.
Oh yes! Oh, that's awesome! Oh, that's so good. I now need to learn French. Far out, I need to start wearing a beret.
Oh, no.
Always having a baguette in one hand.
Oh, yeah, that's what we do in France.
Oh, that's so good. Yes.
I can't unfortunately use my right hand to do that
Look,
because
look at it.
it's not as bad now, but I got stung by a wasp 2 days ago, and let's look at the difference because this is
Look
not
at
what my
that.
hands look normally.
You poor thing. Bloody wasps.
Yeah. So one thing we have to work out though for the visa is when we went to Stockholm, they told us that we had to go back to the embassy to get a stamp on the passport. So I'm gonna email them and ask if we can go to Copenhagen instead, because that would be much faster than having to go back all the way to Stockholm.
Not that Stockholm was bad, it's just a long way to go for just that. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
And I'll probably have to go. Yeah, that's
I don't want to get too
good.
excited. I'm not too sure. Just think your passport is ready for collection.
So otherwise, at the start of November coming up, I would have had to have gone to a non-Schengen country for 3 months.
Which doesn't leave much options because most countries in Europe now are Schengen. So.
Yeah. Ooh, I've been pushing pretty hard lately, but that, I mean, I'll still push really hard because of the, that was creepy. Because of, ooh, creepy fingers. Because of the, oh, that's good news. It takes some stress off. Mm. Yes. I'm not going to be deported anytime soon.
Yay.
Yeah. France wants me. France wants me.
Well, they don't know what they're getting into.
Man.
What do you know how to say in French?
I know how to say coordonnées.
Oh, great.
Which means boogers.
Your first word is that.
What else? I know. Couple. No sentences. I do need to learn. I need to. My brain's not very good for.
That's okay.
That side of stuff, and I have a lot of brain fog at the moment. I'm noticing a lot of brain fog. Maybe it's a lack of sleep.
Maybe.
Maybe. Andrew's like turning off the GoPro as I talk. You suck. You suck.
Ta-da! Wow. It's so good coming back after a little break and actually seeing the changes in the camper. Chris has done so much work, and being able to transfer the cabinetry from the workshop to the camper and actually see it in person, it is amazing. It's so nice. It's a little bit darker probably on camera than it would be in real. We've got the back canvas at the moment shut, which I can't really access at the moment to open because we've got the bed all the way set up there, so I just don't want to remove everything right now. And we don't have all the lighting as well. We are working on the lighting at the moment, but this is what it looks like at the moment. Really happy with how everything is looking. The countertop quite high, which was something that I personally like. I don't want to cook like quite low. Bamboo, really happy with the choice. The sink, how good does it look? I'm so glad that finally I'm able to have a black sink. I really wanted one in a Unimog and couldn't, so black sink, so stoked. One thing we didn't really show in the last episode about the sink is the faucet, yes, does rotate 360 degrees, so you can actually turn it to the side and turn it all the way around, so it's not on the way. So it's a really clever design. Really happy with our choice of the queen size camper sink. And little sneak peek on the cabinetry. What a professional job that looks. Chris really did an amazing work. His dad would be very proud. Love the grain on the birch. Obviously this is not stained, so this is what the difference looks like. Waiting on our cabinet door hatches. I don't know, like the little latches, I don't know how you call them. Yes, we're really happy with how the camper is turning out. Obviously, as you put cabinetry in, the space shrinks a little bit, but I think I'm very glad that we didn't do this part of the cabinetry too much wider, so it still gives us quite a big space in between. And I know for some people they wouldn't understand why we made it like this and we didn't have any windows. So windows for us is a big con in a vehicle like this, because that removes a lot of the ability of building quite much higher, like removing storage. For a family of 3, we need that storage. I don't even know if we'll have enough in this one, which we're trying to find a solution to have enough, but windows was not an option for us for this build. We've got already the 4 canvas windows. We can open the doors, we can open the rear doors, so we still got enough like airflow in the vehicle, so in that respect it will be absolutely fine. And why the building of the bed like this, stationary, and the sitting area underneath, we've got a toddler who naps once a day. Often he will be in a car seat, but sometimes he may have to nap in the truck, and having the bed like this is really good because he can nap. We can still access the camper, we can still access our sitting area. If we had the bed that was going down, we wouldn't be able to access any of it. This vehicle is great. It's a good compromise between the Unimog, so a big truck, and a smaller 4x4. So far for us, it's ticking off all the boxes. So yeah, we'll see when we travel, but yeah, so excited. We are so close, so close. Another recent mod and purchase that we've done is on the roof of the cab. We bought a waterproof PVC storage bag. So initially we were thinking on top of the roof rack having some aluminium box, but one main issue with the boxes is it restricts your storage capacity to a certain size. So for us, we're gonna have a little bit like weird items to store. One of them being Oakley's pram. We are trying to find a less bulky pram than the one we've got at the moment. So if you've got any suggestion, if anyone travels that's actually with a toddler, please let me know, because that's just mind-blowing how many options there are on the market. But anyway, so yeah, for a family, I think having a big bag that we can fill with a lot of things, mostly light objects. We don't want any weight up high. That's why I'm trying to find a lighter pram as well. So I think that's going to work very well for us. It's not the most aesthetic maybe bag, but I think we found the best one and the most affordable one that we could find online. So yeah, time will tell how it lasts, but they were very good reviews. So yeah, this is the storage bag that is going on top of the roof.
Alright, so something I've kind of had the anxiety building for is it's finally time to do our first water pressure test. So a lot of the plumbing in here that I've done I haven't shown you guys at all. So let's talk about our pre-stage filtration, so kind of the beginning of the setup. So what you've got in our toolbox is the Womo Traveller. So this is like a full, if you come in here Ange and show this, it's a full aluminium housing. In here we have a 0.5 micron filter cartridge with silver safe technology inside. So I mean, there's a ton of stats I could list off to you, but that will basically remove a whole bunch of particles, dust, rust, things like that. It'll also remove pesticides, arsenic, asbestos, things like that in the water. It'll also remove giardia, cysts, all the bad nasties we're going to be removing with this pre-filter before it even enters our tanks, and then I'll show you our after tank filter system as well. So pretty simple setup. You've just got the 2 caps that would normally be on here when it's all closed up. I've just put these quick connect kind of fittings on, And then I made a very short length of food safe hose. This is the water out, pops on here. And then that goes to our manifold up here, which it's a little bit dark in here, but you've got the 2 breather ports which have like a mesh netting on them down here. Normally there is a cap on this port, so for everyone asking, oh, stuff can get in your tanks, it can't. I've got a cap on here normally, okay, but I have removed that. Then all I do is screw on your normal garden hose sort of fitting. Screw that on there. Make sure that's nice and tight. And then that is where the other end of the hose goes. Bam, like so. And now I'll show you the rest. So this is underneath our seat, of course. I've shown you part of this before, but it has changed since then. So coming out of the manifold, we have got this here. So this is the water coming into our tank with the ball valve here. A little bit harder to see, but we have got on here a Womo water softener. So that changes the molecular structure of the water before it enters the rest of our filtration system, and also before it enters the tanks, of course. What I really noticed with that, it's one of the first things that I sort of tried from Womo way back in the day on Bowser, and you'd probably agree, Ange, there's something amazing about the water. The water is
amazing.
And it's also not even the taste, it's like really smooth. It's
easy
hard
to drink.
describe. Yeah. One thing which was crazy when we first went to Diana and we were peeing. And he said, you guys are going to be going to the toilet lots. That's your body kind of getting rid of some stuff and flushing things out with that ultra clean water. So anyway, so that's the water softener. Moving on, that goes into the ball valve, which goes into the tank, right? And the other you see there, we've got 2 ball valves. Very tight space, so it's a bit harder for me to get to those, but that's to turn off the breathers if I wanted to. Those are open at the moment. So when we fill the water up, all I need to do is lift up this seat and ball valve goes open, and then I can fill the tanks up. So I will do that now and hope for no leaks. And just quickly, you might recognize that we've got a couple of these in Bowser. This is the Womo Mini. So this is kind of the same deal, same size filter. The big benefit of the Traveller here is obviously it's aluminium, so you can have it on the outside of your vehicle and it will take hits from rocks and things like that and not be damaged at all. But the other big bonus is no light can enter the Traveller, so you'll definitely get 0 bacteria build up, kind of if there's water sitting in there for a decent period of time. Alright, and now to after the tanks. I actually haven't filled the tanks up. I'll show you this first, guys. This is all dry. So what you have here is the Womo water hub. So sort of a similar setup that we have in Bowser, but more refined. So water comes in from the tank, pump sucks it, goes through a pre-filter, just a normal pump pre-filter, to a SureFlow pump, which is 11.3 litres per minute. That then goes into the Womo Mini, which I sort of just showed you on the outside. So that's the 0.5 micron filter cartridge, which then goes back around and into a UVC LED water filtration system. So this kills 99.9999% of bacteria. Amazing German built unit, and we've got this in Bowser as well, and yeah, the thing's just state of the art, really awesome. So in the small form factor you pretty much have your entire water filtration system, and this is of course post the tank. So we've got the pre-filter and then we've basically got post filtration of our water, and it's really important to us mainly because of Oakley as well, because we just want the cleanest possible water for him, and it's just going to be setting him up really well. Plus we want to be going to a lot of random countries. We don't want to ever have to worry about our water supply, and this is a really good way that we can ensure that. So we can be drinking some pretty dodgy water we can be putting into our tanks, and this is going to take care of everything. Then through into what's called a Topaji water flow meter, which isn't hooked up yet. I'm just waiting for a signal cable, but this is a flow meter, so this will tell us on the screen that I'll show you how much water we're actually using after the tanks, and this is this kind of acts as an alternative to having an actual sender unit in your tanks, and I find this is a more accurate way to know. And it's also really good, it kind of tells you exactly how much water you're using. Say if you have a shower, you can monitor exactly how much you use and try and refine that. And I just really like it. We've got that in Bowser as well. Happy with the Tapaji unit. Give that, actually I'll show you through here. And then you've got the water cylinder, which I've shown you, the hot water cylinder back there, with the thermostatic mixing valve, and we can also change the pressure of the relief valve as well, which is nice. So yeah, a lot going on back there. Under here we have our grey water, so grey water comes out here into a bucket, and we've also got our 2 drains. So one of these, this drain is for the fridge condensation, and this drain is for the water cylinder. And then these 2 heavy duty pipes coming through here are going our engine coolant for the hot water cylinder. Yeah, so now it is kind of time for me to do the pressure test.
If you remember, in the Unimog we had a few issues.
We had a major issue with a leaking tank fitting that wasn't actually fixable. It was more on the actual Atlas tank that we bought, and Socks helped me fix it with some like cement type putty, which we don't have. So yeah, it's also harder for me to get to some of the plumbing now because the fridge is in, so this could be a disaster or it could go really smoothly. There's our Tapaji meter there, by the way, so that's not quite hooked up yet. And you'll see on this screen, which I'll show you another day, water pump is on switch number 1. Let's introduce you to the Womo Explorer. So open the case and you've got this bad boy here. What you've got here is pretty much what I just showed you inside the vehicle. It's kind of the same or similar setup as the hub, but a few key differences. So what we can actually do here is this would be your normal outlet, so water would come out, but we can also hook up to mains water pressure. We've actually got a pressure regulator built into the John Guest fittings. So basically that means if our pump for whatever reason died in the Volvo, we could actually plug straight into here at somewhere like a caravan park or anything like that and still have filtered water. So that's a big bonus, kind of one of those ways to get out of a sticky situation if we got into that. Now the main big benefit of this for us is we can plonk this next to a river or a lake, any sort of freshwater source, and it can be really gnarly and murky looking if we want to, because this is so high tech. And we can start pumping water into our tanks from any kind of a freshwater source. So what you've got here is a Anderson plug, and all that needs is 12 volts to power the pump. You've got a switch here, you've got fuses built into it, and then you've got your inlet here. So we would put our hose on with a little mesh screen, and we can plonk that in a river or anything like that, turn the pump on, and we've got really safe, clean drinking water, which is nice and portable. So what we've got in here, instead of the 0.5 micron cartridge, we've got a ceramic cartridge, which works really well for removing sediment, kind of like your nasty green, greeby things. This will clean it up really nicely. And then the UVC will annihilate any bacterias and things like that. So yeah, really cool system. So impressed with it, and we basically have the most state-of-the-art water filtration system. So really cool. We haven't decided where we're going to mount this on the truck yet. We'll find a place for it. A couple of other points I missed. So for the 12 volt supply, what we're actually going to do is we're going to buy one of those jump starter battery packs that can also power things via DC, and that way, because it's a little lithium battery, we can actually run this portably without having to run a cable all the way back to the truck. So that's a really cool feature of it. Now if we can't get any kind of a slightly pressurized sort of water supply from a garden hose or something like that, what we've done is we haven't actually put a gravity feed fill up on the Volvo. We decided not to go down that route because it was unnecessary. We've never needed it on Bowser, so we kept that sort of the same. But if we're near like a well or like a rainwater tank and we need to fill our tanks up that way, what we can do is we can crack out the Explorer, and with that we can actually fill water into a bucket. So we can fill the bucket up full of the water, and then we can use this to pump it from the bucket into our tanks. it'll sort of cover every kind of problem that we may encounter while on the road, so that's really good. You gonna help Dada with the first water test? Yeah, that's it.
It's well
Yep,
connected.
This is how Oakley tests things. I know, it's not very safe, is it? It's a bit silly, it should be on the ground.
Moment of truth.
Oh my god. You ripper! 146 litres. We have filled, I don't know if you can tell, so it might be difficult, but the water line is right here. We're on an angle this way, so this tank is entirely full. You can actually see the water line here, hopefully. Yeah, you might be able to see that. So as I squeeze on the tank, it moves a little bit. So this tank is pretty much chock-a-block. And then this tank here, not sure if you can tell as well, it might be able to see the line is like completely at the top. And we just had both breathers start to leak a little bit of water at the exact same time. Which means, I'm sorry, I hate to toot my own trumpet, but I think I got the tank set up perfect. Better than Bowser. Because with Bowser, one leaks first by quite a long way. Didn't have to change anything with the manifold at all, left it entirely like so. We had one small leak on that end, which I fixed with a pair of pliers. Now, of course, no major pressure has gone in here, so there may still be a ton of leaks afterwards, but just with its own volumetric pressure, oh yeah, I'm so stoked. By the way, we brought this over from Oz, so it's a Gardena water flow meter, and these are really handy. I do recommend buying these. It kind of lets you know how fast the water is coming in, so how many liters per minute, when there is actually flow going through. And then I basically changed the pressure from, I think it was at 12, 15, something like that. I dropped that down to 9 because I didn't want too much pressure going in here for the first time. Oh, this is probably like, oh, you guys are like, whatever. This is so, so good. This was such a huge headache for me trying to work out this plumbing system. And by lifting the level of this tank and having the breathers right where they are, it has worked perfectly. Now, you'll see this breather is underwater at the moment. And the only reason that works is because I've got this loop of hose here. So without that loop of hose going above the level of the tank by a few inches, I think you would get basically like a suction effect and it would just dump that entire amount of water, but it hasn't. So the water is actually over that level. Really stoked. So now one reason to have ball valves, which is really handy, and we found this on Bowser after the fact, is now if we went off-roading and we shake the car side to side, you would lose some water out of the breathers potentially. So that is where if we go off-road, just turning off those ball valves stops that happening, and then when we get to camp, open the ball valves again, and then it will pressure regulate as you either fill or use the water. So yeah, definite tip from Chrissy Boy is on your breathers have ball valves on an off-road vehicle so that you can change them at will. And also if you're going uphill and you start seeing water dumping out of the back of your car, it helps if you can put a ball valve on. We know that from experience. Okay, so the next pressure, so first of all lunchtime because I'm starving, and then we turn the hub on for the first time. Very, very, very exciting. I hear footsteps. Hey!
It's ready.
Special, looks like a paella, but it's not, is it? It's
a bulgur chicken salad.
What is this called?
Bulgur.
What is it?
Don't put it on my face.
What is it?
I have something in my teeth.
No, you don't.
No.
What's it called?
Oh, gosh,
what's it called?
Bulgur. Bulgur.
How's it spelled?
B-L-G-U-R.
B.
U-L-G-U-R.
Bulgur.
It's a
Is
grain.
that a Swedish grain? It's a special grain. You come over to the other side of the world and even the grains are different. The moment of truth. I'm so scared. Okay. Just completed my favorite part of the build so far. Building a little toy box for Oakley. I'll show you where that goes, but that's perfect. So we'll fill that full of his toys. Got a little pull on the front and a way to secure it on the back. I use the router to route out the edge so that it sits nice and solid on the box itself. And the reason we've made this so sturdy is because we'll be using this as our kind of like our step. It can also be used as a little coffee table outside if we want to, or a seat for a guest, just like a versatile sort of solution, and an area where we've got a perfect spot for it inside the Volvo. So yeah, a few holes on the sides to act basically as handles and to reduce a little bit of weight. It is 12mm birch ply. We've got the bamboo countertop on the top, and underneath we've got 18mm poplar. Coming to the end of my wood supply in perfect fashion because I don't have much left to build, and what I do, I think I've got enough. So yeah, stoked with that. I'm really happy with how the furniture, how the cabinetry's sort of been going. I've been enjoying the process, taking my time, but still getting lots done. Worked till about 9 PM last night doing it. Yeah, I'm enjoying it. My dad was a fine furniture maker my whole life, and he passed a few years ago, and I feel like when I've been working in here, he's kind of been alongside me, giving me a hand, because I never learnt any woodworking from him. It was never an interest of mine when I was a kid, but now that I'm doing it since he's passed, it feels, yeah, there's something cathartic about it. I am enjoying the process.
Alright, so while I wait for a second morning coffee to be done, I would like to introduce you to today's sponsor for this video, BottleBottle and the new HydroX bottle. So both Chris and I chose the 32-ounce HydroX bottle, which is around 1 liter. We think it's the perfect size. It's not too heavy and bulky to carry around, but it's still enough water to keep you hydrated during the day. There are 3 other sizes if you want something slightly smaller or slightly bigger. Now a few key features of the HydroX bottle. So you've got 2 ways of drinking. You've got the regular straw lid, which is my favorite.
Oh!
Convenient on the go, or if you're driving, for example. You've got as well just the regular opening, so you can just flip the lid and you've got that opening here. It is also leak proof. So I store my bottle usually in Oakley's bag where there's toys, so it's great for me. There's no water leaking everywhere. Another really good feature is the excellent insulation. So I like to drink my water cold. This bottle can keep water cold up to 24 hours. And if you put warm drinks in it, it can keep it warm up to 12 hours, which is quite convenient. One unique feature of the HydroX bottle is this little hidden storage at the bottom, so you can put keys or money, anything that you need with you on the go can be stored here safely. So if you're interested in getting your own HydroX bottle, there will be a link and a discount code in the description.
Good morning, guys. So the water pressure test was overall a huge success. I didn't film yesterday, I was busy working on all the woodwork. We basically had 2 leaks. They were small, easy to fix. Everything is now running like a dream. This has all worked flawlessly. Tap we're really stoked with. So basically we've got our Cymarine screen here, which doesn't seem to do too well on camera. Obviously it's not flicking in real life. I will show all about our electronic setup shortly, maybe on the next video actually, with the EnerDrive system and the Cymarine, the digital switching, things like that. So basically I've got lights and things on here, and then we've got water pump, like so. So water pump is on. So as you can see, it hasn't been turned on for like 2 days, and the pump hasn't even turned on yet. So we're not losing pressure anywhere, which is fantastic. Gives me really good peace of mind that we didn't have a leak or anything overnight. This is really good. Very, very happy with the tap. You can hear the water. Basically the water just drains straight out the floor at the moment. Let me know what you think about that idea. We didn't want to waste cabinet space by having like a 20-litre jug to capture water. Instead we have a collapsible 20-litre PVC bucket that we'll put underneath the truck to catch the water. I'm not really fussed if that's legal or not, to be honest. We're not interested in turning this into like a registered motorhome or anything like that. So I think that's kind of the best solution. We've got a decent amount of grey water storage in Bowser. I think something like 40 litres, not a lot, but 40 litres. And we never, ever have ever filled it up. I'm always just jettisoning the water, because the funny thing about, you know, dishwashing and things like that, if you let it out, it's grey water, so it's non-toxic, as long as you're not using, you know, toxic chemicals and stuff with your cleaning. But if you leave it more than, say, like 48 hours, it does turn into black water, and then it becomes a biohazard. So that's just from the bacteria buildup. So this is actually the cleaner solution for us. Obviously we'll use bio soap if we do that. And like we did in Bowser, we might actually have some form of collapsible bucket in here that actually stops the majority of the grey water anyway. So that may not even get used that much, to be honest. So that's what we've gone with on this. I have done a ton of woodwork, but as always, the devil is in the details, and some of the details are what's taking me a while. This is obviously a new addition. I showed you guys the toy box that I made yesterday. That goes here. I'm just waiting on a couple of things for the electrical system that I can put this shelf in to here, our clothing storage. I'll need to drill some holes in it for ventilation. As you can see, I've got the vent grill here. And then I can put all those cupboard doors on, and then in here will be mostly complete. So very happy with how everything is going. And then I wanted to show you that too. We have a table now over the engine hatch, which just by using 2 big thick pieces of aluminium, it's able to sandwich onto this kind of metal bulkhead here. And then I've put 2 legs on brass hinges, so that can fold up, and it's very easy to remove, put it outside the truck whenever I need to access the engine or the transmission. But that gives us a place where we can have food, toys for Oaks, because it'll be next to his seat here. Obviously it's not at our laps, so like we can't really eat off it like a dining table, because that just wasn't going to be an efficient use of the space. But we can rest our food, put our drinks on it, things like that. So that's great. I'm really happy with that, and it hardly budges at all, and there's no way of it being secured at the moment. It's just the weight of it is sandwiched down really nicely. Yeah, lots going on in here. The reason I'm not filming everything the whole time, I'm sorry, is because I'm kind of in a race against the clock to beat the winter here. We have been told that it's likely going to be an early winter here in Sweden, and I'm really trying to avoid Ange and Oaks being in a really cold environment in this motorhome. I'm also trying to avoid that workshop becoming an icebox like it did when we first arrived here. So yeah, we're really close. Again, it's just the details take a bit of time. Okay, so I'm going to get back to work. We've got the latches to put on. I just made this last night. I'll put the hinges on that. And then I need to make kind of the locking latches out of wood, and then in here is going to be looking ace.
All right, first coffee in the cab of the Volvo.
It is. Cheers.
Cheers.
Nice rainy morning. Got a bit of work done. Ange has just done some chores for me, really.
Picking up a lot of parcels. Like, it's the time where it's so exciting to be able to buy things to fill up all the cupboards, the drawers. So yeah, a lot of purchase on Amazon.
So I thought
What
we
have
would
you been
take
up
you
to
into
here?
the cab, because like we mentioned on the video, we've done a piece of wood here to cover the dash. So that's just on Velcro, and it sits really nicely. Nice strong Velcro. And you can show you.
Demonstration. Whoa, it is very strong.
Yeah. So that's good. And then a new addition that you wouldn't have seen would be the rear vision camera. So I've just got that on a button here, and then the camera will only turn on when the lights are on. So I wired up the rear vision camera to my headlights, and the reason I did that is so that I didn't have to run a cable all the way back to the batteries. I just tapped into the power source there. And it also means, because there's no light, it's the same as on Bowser. When you have the headlights on with the key out, so,
hey.
These vehicles don't beep to tell you the light's been left on, so it's really easy to drain the batteries in these. Somehow we haven't in Bowser yet, but it's only a matter of time. So one way that can remind me is if I see the camera on, I know that the lights are on, so I can just then turn them off, and then we get no signal. So that's kind of a little reminder. Then you'll see this here. So GME is a excellent Australian company building UHF radios and handheld walkie-talkies. This is a 5 gigahertz walkie-talkie, and Ange and I use 2 of these. I've got a hard mounted one in Bowser, and then we have 2 walkie-talkies as well. We just brought the walkie-talkies over here, and I put them in like a little pouch when I brought them over, but unfortunately I broke the 12 volt charging like a plug. So GME just whisked us over the in-car charger, which is cool. So as you can see, I haven't wired that up yet. I will do that either today if it's not raining, or maybe tomorrow. And that enables us to charge the walkie-talkies and to be able to spot and communicate if we ever need to. Probably won't use it as much as in Bowser, but still really good to have. Not sure what the legalities are behind having an Australian UHF radio over here, but the way I see it, if we hear someone on a channel, we'll just change the channel. So it doesn't seem to be a major issue. Yeah, very good. What else, Ange?
One little thing, the video when Chris showed that box, it triggered a lot of people with the angle, saying that we're going to cut ourselves.
Someone said we were going to break bones on it.
Break bones, yeah, it was pretty full on. So I'm here to tell you, it is not sharp at all. Chris used the file. Like, I don't see that being an issue. And if, like, in the worst case, we just bang our elbow, we just get...
And we get a scratch. Oh,
No, it's really not a big deal. It looks maybe more sharp on camera, but I just wanted to let you know so that you're not triggered in the future. We're not going to put any corner cut protection in that. Even the box for the diesel heater and the battery at the rear, they're very good. So Oakley is not going to...
And if Oakley starts scratching himself, I'll just tell him that he needs to harden up and stop touching it.
All right.
So, one last thing you'll see behind Ange is our carbon monoxide detector. The reason we have it high, of course, is because carbon monoxide rises, much like warm air, and we don't see it from inside our living area. So it's pretty much above the diesel heater right there. And one other note is from Tatanka, we brought new barrels for all of the doors. So we now have lockable, 5 lockable doors, which is good.
Oh, so nice to see the camper at the rear.
It's looking nice.
Looks so
it's looking really nice with the lights and stuff. It's looking a bit more homely than it was.
Yeah, we can't see any green left at the rear. That's amazing.
Very cool. God, who would have thought we could have covered up most of that green back there, Ange? That's crazy.
Check it out. The masterpiece by the one and only Chrissy boy.
I'm stoked with that. I'm really proud of it.
It looks so nice.
It's a lot of work, but it came out good.
We were talking just before about how happy we are with our color theme, I guess, choice for the Volvo. It's all like going very well together. We've got the sandy canvas with the brass hinge, the black leather straps. It just goes all well together. I'm very happy with that.
Looks nice and elegant.
Yes, I'll put a photo on the screen of Oakley wanted to choose our handles. Unfortunately, we didn't go with the pink elephant. We thought that it would not quite suit the look of the Volvo, but yeah, Oakley might be a little bit disappointed, but hopefully he will understand.
So I just need to do the little twisty catch things, which I'll do now for all of those. It's like a little puzzle. And pretty much done. Just need to put it in when it's not raining.
So yeah, we'll show you on the next episode, I guess, the complete woodwork finish in the Volvo. We've got some electrical coming up. And we've got some exciting outdoor exterior projects coming up.
Yeah, some really cool exterior projects, as well as one mechanical project, 2 mechanical projects I need to do before we go.
And on that note, because we get actually quite a lot of questions about it, can you just do a little explanation of the engine, what's going on?
Oh yes, so the diesel is still here, and that is still going to be one of my favorite projects. I think I've been really relishing doing it, but I'm tired, and Ange and Oaks are, I'm sure, sick of the motorhome as well. I'm sure Bjorn is sick of having us here, and it's taken a lot longer to get to the stage we're at than I'd originally thought it was when we were back in Oz. So I'm going to call this round 1 of the build, V1, and that will be V2 of the build. The bonus being we get to drive the vehicle as is, and that way I can then work out what I think needs upgrading in the driveline in terms of, you know, the transmission, the engine. And when we put the diesel in, then we'll actually be able to really realize how much better it is. So that is 100% still on the cards, but I need a break, and we need to do some traveling and see some scenery again, because living next to a tyre bin and an 85 car motorhome and just going back and forward all day, every day, wears thin after a while. So yeah, we all need a break, and we'll probably do the engine build somewhere else. Not sure where yet. It could be Sweden, it could be Germany. Yeah, and I don't think it'll actually take me that long, but I've been wrong before. So yeah, V2, stay tuned for that. But yeah, we want some miles under our belt first.
All right, thanks for watching.
Thanks,
See you
guys.
next week.
Can you see me driving? You can't see any of the cockpit.
People can have 2, so that's one angle
I reckon I'll
potentially.